Hey guys, this week we're going to talk about personal finance. Our title for this week is Mo Money, Mo Problems by the Notorious B.I.G. And just basics, very, very basics of personal finance. Some of you are going to know this stuff and that's fine. But for those of you who don't, I think this is really important for you to learn now. Why is this important to me? Great question. You should always ask this because unfortunately, money kind of runs our world. So if we want to do something, we need money to do that. Whether that's going out to eat with friends after school, after a football game, basketball game, whatever that may be, buying the new video game. Maybe farther in the future, you want to buy a car. Maybe you want to go on a road trip or just like a trip with friends or a school trip that you need money to pay for. Maybe looking super far in advance, you want to pay for college or technical school, or you want to move somewhere to start a job, or maybe you want to go on a date with someone in the future and you need money to pay for them. That is why it is important too, because you need money to do these things. So where do you or can you get cash flow from, or like receive money from, earn money, things like that? Simple stuff, birthdays, holidays. I'm sure you all get a sum of money from that kind of thing. Things I did, I started babysitting when I was in eighth grade with a lot of families in my neighborhood. My brother umped Little League baseball games for a Little League, refed basketball games for our kind of youth league for that too. You can walk dogs, you can mow lawns, rake leaves, shovel snow. I had friends who'd get up at 4 in the morning before school in high school in the wintertime and they'd shovel driveways. They made so much money. You can sell your art. You can sell your clothes. There's a store in Grand Rapids called Plato's Closet where you can like bring your clothes in and they give you money for your clothes if they're in good enough shape. There's just a lot of ways you can be creative. You don't need adults to do that. You don't need like a set job, but you can be very creative with how you can earn money. And along those lines, if you start like a little business, whether it's like for your art or your sewing or your lawn care business, that Canva website that we did our individual infographics on is a great website. You can make little business cards on that and hand those out if you want. So what should you do with your money? Great question, and thank you for asking. Let me just move myself over here. Things that I want you to pay attention to. These are the 4 things that I want to go through your mind when you are earning an income or getting money. What is your money in versus money out? So what does that mean is what is your money in? What are you receiving versus how much are you spending? Okay, so if I get $50 for my birthday and then I spend $40 on it on a new video game, I only have $10 left. Or if I just spend all that money on a video game, I have nothing left. So figuring out how much money I'm receiving versus how much money I need to and or want to spend or put out. Budget. You need to prioritize your money, okay? I get right now, you're like, Miss V, I don't need to start saving. What are you talking about? If you start saving now, you'll be so much better off, okay? I started saving in the 8th grade for college because I knew I had to pay for it by myself, and I was so much better off my first semester of college because I'd already started saving money when I was in middle school, okay? Prioritize. Figure out what you need to spend money on, what you want to spend money on, and what is maybe a little bit unnecessary, okay? And then budget that out based on what you're receiving. So maybe you get $20 a week for mowing your neighbor's lawn. Maybe you put $8 to $10 of that aside to go to McDonald's once a week. Completely fine. But the rest of that you should save, okay? Prioritize that. Find ways to cut spending. If you're going to Starbucks 4 times a week or McDonald's 4 times a week, you don't need it, okay? Cut it out. Maybe go once or twice a week. Use that money that you saved, put it in a savings account for a longer term goal that you might have, okay? Set goals, short-term, long-term goals. Maybe you have a short-term goal of buying a new pair of tennis shoes. Maybe you have a short-term goal of buying the new video game. Maybe you have a short-term goal of going on a trip, okay, with a friend. Set long-term goals. Maybe you have a long-term goal of paying for college or paying for technical school, moving somewhere else for a new job. Maybe you have the long-term goal of buying a car when you turn 16, or maybe there's a school trip once you get to high school you want to go on. Set goals, okay? That way you know what you want to do with your money. Here's a little scenario. So I'm going fast because the first video I made was way too long. Eric currently, that's my brother, fun fact, but he's not 16, he's 27, has $3,000 in his bank account. He gets $100 a week for doing yard work for his neighbors. He spends $40 a week on food and hanging out with friends. He wants to buy a $5,000 used car. Will Eric have enough money to buy the car by the time he turns 16 in 6 months? Okay, so if Eric spends $40, that means he's saving $60 a week. So if he does that, it will take him 8.5 months to save enough money to buy the car. If Eric budgets and prioritizes and cuts out the unnecessary stuff, like that 4-step plan that we just learned about, and he put his spending to $20 a week instead of $40 a week, and then he ended up saving $80 a week, he would be able to buy the car in just over 6 months, like 6 months and a week or two, okay? Which means by the time he turns 16 in 6 months, he would be able to buy the car. So how does he budget better? He cuts out the unnecessary stuff, spends $20 a week on food instead of $40. And then it's important to know that what other expenses is he going to have once he buys this car? He's going to have car insurance, he's going to have gas, and so he's going to need to be aware of those things so that he can pay for that once he gets his new car. Okay, so always know that if you make a big purchase, know everything else that's going to be attached that goes along with it. Okay. So where do we put our money? This might be a very basic thing for some of you, but for some of you, not. Banks is such a good place to put our money. It is protected. If something were to happen to the bank, whether it gets bought out, burnt down, whatever it may be, your money is insured or protected up into a certain amount by the FDIC, okay? Which is, we love that. We love our money being safe. And then if they close, you still get your money regardless, okay? Because it's yours. It is safe in the bank. At home, there's a plethora of horrible situations that could happen to your money, okay? Now, the number one reason that we love to put it in the bank is interest. When you have your savings growth account, those words are interchangeable. You put it in the bank, it accrues interest. So it gets interest. Interest builds on it. Interest is free money, okay? It just, sitting in a savings account, you get money based on that. The percents are anywhere from 0.01% to 1% or more. It is very rare to be close to 1%, roughly like right now, like 0.03%. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but free money is free money. We love it, even if it's a few dollars. If it's going to sit in an account or just sit at our house, it might as well sit in an account and accrue interest, right? And give us free money. Okay, how you set up a bank account, super easy. You guys are minors, so you're going to need an adult to go with you. Just go to whatever bank you want, local bank. You need a parent or guardian to go with you because they need to help you sign up and sign on to this account. They need to bring like their driver's license, social security number, stuff like that, sign a couple forms for you. Because in case you like overdraw, which means you take too much money out of your account, someone's got to pay that money. Okay, so someone has to be responsible. Since you're a minor, it's got to be your guardian. After you sign those forms, you make your initial deposit. Deposit just means you put in the money that you have. And then in the mail, you'll get a little bank card. And that way you'll be able to spend money and take money out of your account from that. You'll also be given like a little bank book. It kind of looks like a checkbook. And you can keep track of, I just put $100 in the bank. And then in the next line, like maybe you spent $20 on B-dubs, and you can keep track of all that, which is great for your budget. We love a good budget, guys. Very useful. You have two different accounts, checking and savings account. Your checking account is like your everyday account. Okay, so that means this is where you like take your purchases from, your withdrawal. So you're taking money out of this account to pay for certain things, bills. This account sometimes earns less interest than a savings account. And this is one where you can overdraft. So you can do it in your savings account too, but that means I take more money out of my account than what's actually in it. And a lot of times there's fees that you have to pay if you do that. So this is like if I took my little card I got in the mail and I went to pay for gas, and I used that card to pay for gas, my money to pay for that would come out of my checking account. My savings account is that growth account where we just store and save our money in, and it just sits there. And it earns interest, which we love, free money. Sometimes there's a limit of how many times you can withdraw or take money from a savings account or transfer it, because you can transfer money between these two accounts. So like my paycheck goes into my checking account, but then I transfer a certain percentage of it into my savings account every other week when I get paid. And then a lot of banks have like apps on your phone. And so you can do it there. You can transfer that there. But there's a certain number of times you can do that before you have to pay a fee. And then they always have websites. Like I go on my website. I go to PNC, that's my bank, and then I can transfer as many times as I want using the website, but not on my phone app. So you just got to be aware of that because you can have a transfer limit or fee as well. If you have questions on this at any time, please feel free to pause, ask your teachers. I'm sure they know so much more about this. This is very basic level, and I want to keep it that way so that you're just not listening to me talk that much, but you get some knowledge about this kind of stuff, okay? There's different types of cards you can get. ATM, this is your most basic type of card. So this literally all you can use it for is you go to the ATM at the bank. Sometimes they're around other places, but usually at a bank, and you can just use that to take money out of your account, okay, or put money into your account. But from the ATM, so it would give you cash, or you could deposit a check or cash that maybe you got from your birthday, okay? Your debit card, this is one that you would use more like your age. Like this is the card that I used when I was in high school and middle school when I had my bank. I guess I still have a bank account, but when I had a card, it was just my debit card. You can use this to pay for things at different places. So you can use this to pay gas, restaurants, stores, just like anything else. You just use this and substitute instead of giving cash, excuse me. And then you can use this card to get stuff out of the ATM too. Okay, you could bring this to your ATM, get cash out, or deposit a check that way as well. A debit card is going to have Visa or MasterCard in one of the corners of it. Do you notice how there's not that logo here? So that's how you know it's a debit card. Credit card looks very similar to a debit card. Sometimes they look a little bit different, but for the most part, they have very similar properties. This is just the anatomy of a card. So I thought that would be good to show you. This is your card number. So if you order something online, you'd have to enter this number in. You have your expiration date. So whenever your card is expired, it won't work up until that point or after that point. You would have to get a new card. Your cardholder name, this would just be your name. So mine says Carly Vansois. This is where you can swipe. There's a line that you usually sign on the back. This is your CVC code or your security code. If you order online stuff too, you'll need this code. And then chip. This is just one of those things that they've created in the last few years that's supposed to be safer than swiping your card using the strip. Okay? We're almost done, I promise. This is your ATM in case you've never seen one before. What you would do is you would enter your ATM or debit card here. You can also use your credit card, but a lot of times you have to pay a fee. It's a few dollars if you use your credit card, so it's just better to use ATM or debit card. Put it in there. You have to enter a 4-digit PIN. So a 4-digit PIN is basically 4 numbers. It's your password to get to your bank account just to keep everything safe. You set that up when you open up your bank account. That is a number you do not tell anyone. So it goes in here, you press enter, and then on the screen it's going to ask you questions. Do you want to withdraw? Do you want to take money from your account? Do you want to deposit cash, check, or a paycheck, which means put money into your account? Do you want to transfer money between accounts? It's going to ask you what option you want to do. You choose it. So if I wanted to withdraw money, I would pick withdraw, then I'd click how much I wanted. Maybe it's $20. And then a lot of times it'll give me my card back because it takes your card. And then it'll give me my card back, and then it'll dispense the cash below. Do not leave the ATM without getting your card. I, unfortunately, have done that before. It's not very fun. I had to get a new one. So do not leave without getting your card back. Credit cards. This is very important. You guys are a target of credit card companies because you're so young. And no offense, sometimes don't make the best decisions. People my age are too in their 20s. We don't always make the best decisions, so we're a huge target for credit card companies. So credit cards can be good, right? But it's not free money. You can't just swipe it, insert it, whatever, and it's free money. You have to pay for that. You will get a bill, either on an online statement or an online bill, or you will get it in the mail, and you are required to pay for that, okay? That will come out of your checking or savings account, but you need to pay that bill. Just like you would pay a water bill, just like you would pay a mortgage, something like that, whatever bill. There's a limit on cards. There's a certain limit on each card. It varies. There's late fees if you miss paying your bill on time, and then they can accrue interest, which is not good. We like interest in our savings account, not on our bills. For some credit cards, you can get points or cash back, which means some cards, if I go to the gas station, I can get a certain percentage of cash back or money back into my account for using my credit card to get gas. Points, I get points on my credit card because I really like to travel, so I have the travel credit card. And I get points for every dollar I spend, and then that goes to plane tickets and lodging if I want that. And it helps build credit. Credit is huge. Credit is financial power. We need a good credit. You have good credit, bad credit, there's different levels, but essentially credit is power, and we use it to get stuff for loans, okay? For loans for our houses when we're older, loans for cars, student loans, you need good credit in order to get those things, okay? And you can use your credit card to get good credit because when you swipe your credit card, you pay for with credit, and then you pay off that bill later. Just like you would a loan. You get the loan, but then you pay that loan off later. So if you're making on-time payments on your credit card, you're not maxing it out, you're being responsible, and you're showing that you're responsible with money, you will have a good credit. You will have good credit, which means that you're more likely to get loans for houses and cars and student loans, what have you. If you have bad credit, it's harder to get a loan for those things, which you'll need when you're later on in life. Now, this was a quick overview. If you have questions, please email me or talk to your teacher. I just want you to know that you're a target for credit cards because we don't always make the best decisions when we're young. You will get random credit cards assigned to your name in the mail. And when you're in high school, maybe you have gotten them now, or especially when you're in college. I got a ton when I was in college. That does not mean you have a card with them. That does not mean you have to open up a card with them. They want you to, okay? Because when you open up a card, you make them money. So be smart. Talk to your parents about it. You are in no need of a credit card right now at the age of 8th grade. But when that comes, make sure you're talking with someone that you trust and who's responsible with money when you get to that point. Okay, very brief overview, just about like you guys can make money now, even though you're in 8th grade. You can be super creative with that. You can have an income, you can budget, you can set goals. Doing that now, you're going to be so much better off later on in life. Okay, tomorrow we are going to talk about checks, how to write them, and play a game with that. Okay, you have an assignment for me to do in Google Classroom. It is 10 questions, super easy, about personal finance. 9 questions about what we went over today, so then I know you paid attention, and some of your own personal financial goals. Okay? Email me with any questions. Have a great day.